Okay, so you're out of string. There's nothing there. So we need to open this puppy up so we can install some new string in our Dewalt 40-volt string trimmer. If you look closely on here, you'll see a little lock symbol. And to lock, you go counterclockwise. So we're going to assume that to unlock, we're going to push this down, we're going to hold this, then we're going to twist this clockwise to unlock. Let's see if that works. There we go. So there's our spool. Notice a couple things on here. It shows you which way to wind the line. So you're going to wind it on that direction, which is clockwise if you have this upside down. And notice these grooves here. We're going to use these grooves to wind the line. And then there's a groove on each side. One here, one here. Those are going to hold the line after we wind it up. And then once we have it wound, we're going to feed the string from here through the holes on both sides. See these on both sides. And also I'd like to point out these little nubs here. Those will lock into these holes when we lock this thing back on. So take a note of that. All right, now all we need is some string. Let's go find some. Okay, what you're going to want to do, cut yourself about 20 to 30 feet of trimmer string. And what you want to do after you cut it is find the midpoint. And an easy way to find a midpoint is just take both loose ends and go around a table leg or a pole or whatever you got handy. Take the two ends in your hand. Then pull the string tight. And now you know that your midpoint is right there at the end. So once you have your midpoint, use a Sharpie or something. Just put a little mark where your midpoint is. Then find one of these notches. Use the center notch. You're going to hook this in that center notch and then wind it in the direction shown. So I'm going to wind it up now, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Let's start by hooking it in that center notch. So we got it hooked in the center notch. We're going to follow the arrows on the winding direction. You can see how we're winding on both slots at the same time. Try to wind it evenly if possible. And like I said, you could probably put up to about 40 feet of line on here. But, you know, whatever you got, 20, 30, 40 feet. Just keep winding, try to get it to go all the way across the spool, so it's not piling up on one side. It's a pretty fast process. And as you get towards the end here, that's when you want to hook them in the outer slots. Kind of hold them in place. And you come over here to this other side. So that's what it should look like once you get it wound up. Now all we have to do is get it back in the trimmer. That'll be the next step. So now that we're back in the trimmer, we want to feed one end through each hole on each side. And kind of pull those strings a little bit on each side as well. Push that thing down, and then remember your locking indicator here, saying locked, push down, and turn it clockwise, or excuse me, counterclockwise, because we're upside down, so we're going that way. And then don't forget about your little locking knob indicator over here. You should see it in the window. This one isn't quite locked in. Let's see if we can lock it in. Okay, now we have the little white nub is through that hole, so it should be locked in. We've got string coming out both sides, and we should be good to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it's probably a bit long, but maybe you got the gist and didn't have to watch the whole thing. Thanks. See you next time.